time is 6 p.m.
I'd like to make a motion to end the closed session.
Second that, Lou.
Second. All in favor?
Roll call.
Roll call. All right.
Roll call, Denise Williams, Secretary, yes. Amanda Cook, Sergeant at Arms.
Yes.
Jim Singer, Chaplain.
Yes.
Tom Milnick, member.
Yes.
Janet Blue, member.
Yes.
Steve Beneke, member.
Yes.
John Kessel, past chair.
Yes.
Wayne Horn, past chair.
Yes.
Unanimous, Mr. President.
Motion passed.
It was 6 o'clock PM when you came out.
I did, record that, thank you.
Okay. Next on the agenda is public comment. I don't know how we're gonna do by the sign-up sheet. Does anybody?
If they want to line up, here's the microphone, or whatever.
Let's do this, just like we do in county boards, since we're using the same room. Let's go ahead and line up along the back. If you'd like to do public comment, we're gonna have each person come down to the podium, state your name. You're gonna have, Mr. President, how many minutes to speak?
3 minutes.
3 minutes to speak today, and everybody is welcome to comment in the public.
You got rules on your 3 minutes? You got rules in writing?
Ready?
Yeah.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
Let's make sure that we have that microphone on as well.
Is it on?
Where are the rules for the 3 minutes? Because I asked before this meeting started and no one could produce them.
They don't have any.
If you don't have any minutes, anything in writing about the 3-minute rule, you cannot enforce it.
Can you hear me?
Robert's Rules of Order.
No.
No.
Yeah.
This
Excuse
is
me.
any-
We're gonna let our state's
The Assistant
attorney.
State's Attorney is gonna speak.
Okay, very good.
So, under the Open Meetings Act, any person is permitted an opportunity to address public officials under the rules established and recorded by the public body. In the public body's bylaws, it says proceedings for all business meetings shall be governed by Robert's Rules of Order revised, except here and otherwise provided, and under Robert's Rules, it specifically provides that the presider may establish a time limit for all commenters, but not less than 3 minutes.
And you just put that into play
No,
tonight.
this was in their bylaws.
I understand that, but you haven't been using them.
Just because they haven't had to
We
use it
haven't
doesn't
had
mean they
time.
are prohibited from using them.
So you can use them when you want to, but then when you don't want to, you don't have to. That's what you're telling the public. You can do it when you want
You are
to.
out of order.
I'm not out of order, I'm
You
asking
are
a
out of
question.
order. This is a meeting that's.
And you're not
their
the chairman, you can't call her out of order.
They asked me to speak on their behalf.
They need to speak on their own behalf.
I'm their legal counsel. So, 3 minutes is okay. Sir, you have 3 minutes.
Please state your name, please spell your last name, please.
Who's the chairman?
Chairman.
I'm the secretary, that's the reason I'm asking, sir.
Can you tell me that I have the floor and how much time I have?
You have 3 minutes. Please state your name.
John Kraft, K-R-A-F-T. Article 9, or Article 11 of your bylaws, Section 7, says the commission shall conduct all meetings in accordance with the Open Meetings Act, including all amendments to the act. Section 2.06G of the Open Meetings Act says that all persons shall be permitted the opportunity to address public officials under the rules established and reported by the public body. The rules established in a public body should be in the form of a, public comment ordinance or resolution, not just a vague, mention of, Robert's Rules of Order. Robert's Rules of Order cannot, sections of the Robert's Rules of Order cannot contradict state law. State law requires you have rules adopted and recorded. Robert's Rule says no less than 3 minutes. So, is that what it says, no less than 3 minutes? That means you got 10 minutes. You can't sit up here and just state on your own 3 minutes. If Robert's rules, with your attorney said no less than 3 minutes, that's what it means. No less than 3 minutes. That doesn't mean you can hold it to 3 minutes. That rule was not established and recorded. So you need to adopt a public comment policy that complies with the Open Meetings Act that states how many minutes a member of the public has to speak. And I'll ask that you please do that. And I have another question. Did you record the closed session? Did somebody record an audio record the closed session?
Public discussion is not question and answer.
Somebody did?
We don't have to reply to anything.
I never said you had to reply. I can still ask the question.
Well,
And it
thank
was
you for
answered,
asking
yes.
the question.
Somebody recorded the audio. I will be requesting a copy of it because the section that you cited to go in, the very first part requires that you have an internal and external auditor. That's a financial auditor, not an attorney that's looking at your other things. An auditor is a title.
Thank you. Please state your name.
So my name is Raj Pillai. I am a delegate, alternate delegate from the Plainfield American Legion. And just before I start, for the record, am I allowed to have more minutes, sir? than
3 minutes, please.
So as a commission member, I just want to verify for the record that, we're setting a precedent that commission members cannot have additional time to speak.
We're in public comment.
Correct,
That's
but I
it.
also asked for an item to
No
be
question.
put on the agenda,
We don't
sir,
have to
that
Make a decision.
I specifically asked for an agenda item to be put on, that was denied. So I just want to make sure that I say that for the record.
Okay.
So I'm going to try to speak for 3 minutes, but I have, as a commission member, I do have more to say. So my name's Raj Pillai, I'm a taxpayer, United States Navy veteran, and a member of this commission. We've raised some questions about a $495,000 payment from the former VAC superintendent to Heiji Consulting, a digital marketing firm. After information from a FOIA on that came to light, she resigned, and the website for that firm went dark as of a couple weeks ago. Just want to emphasize it was $500,000 given to someone that's not a veteran, all paid for upfront, and for a marketing contract. No other bids were taken, and from the minutes that we reviewed, no board vote was taken at the VAC board in any one of these meetings. Very little information was provided, and some of the schedules didn't even add up as far as what that money was used for. The funding came from the CARES Act, and it was allocated by the Will County Board, and one of the members on the CARES Act committee also happens to be on this board. An anonymous tip came in January 4th, and the county auditor confirmed that he could not look into it based on the minutes from April's meeting. And it was FOIA'd by someone named Chris Hammond. And guys, Chris Hammond is just a representation of us, the people, veterans and taxpayers of this county. And you don't need to figure out who Chris Hammond is. You just need to answer these questions. And there was a lawyer that represents Chris Hammond that came into the March meeting. Did any of you follow up with that lawyer? I mean, do you know who did? I did. If you want to ask him right now, he's right there in the audience as to what your questions would be if you did follow up with him. And in the Plainfield Legion, we have made it a point to publicize this through our Legion newsletter. And we've now noted that many agencies and organizations are looking into this. The FBI has contacted the attorney that I mentioned, the Attorney General, representatives here, County Auditor, Internal Legal Counsel, I think Paul O'Grady. Someone posted this on the patch, there was a Herald article already. The point is, it's been 6 months since the tipster called. It's an extremely controversial situation. And as a matter of fact, I don't think we should be making any major hiring or firing decisions. Can I have someone yield their time to me, sir?
3 minutes, please.
Can someone yield their time to me, ma'am?
Yes, I will.
I yield my time to you, Raj, go ahead. So,
No.
I
Where's
speak
the rules that
next.
say they can't? You don't have any.
that's right.
What do you make this up as you go along?
They said
Is it some common practice that people can yield their time in meetings like this?
Not in public.
Okay, well, that's
Keep talking, we wanna hear it.
Yeah, we want to hear what you have to say, Raj. Keep talking.
We wanna
Let's
hear
have
it.
some respect for this veteran, okay?
The public
The
needs
whole
to
room is
know.
full of veterans, we respect all of them.
I understand that. But he's speaking, so let him speak.
Let it talk.
Let him talk.
Next speaker, please.
I'll respect your rules, but you have to respect the
Where's
fact
it
that
at?
you don't have
Where's the
rules.
rule? Show me.
Next speaker, please.
Raj, if you have it written out, I'll finish it.
We'll finish it, we'll just go down the line.
Yeah, just give him, tell me where you were. Excuse me,
Ask
let
the
me
nice
finish
people
this.
have to do that.
Mhm.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Shut down the
Do you mind?
My name's Elizabeth Caparelli Ruff, and I'd like to finish what Raj started. Overall, the why, what, and who. Why are some of you apparently doing Christie's bidding for her? With talk of firing everybody, really? Why focus on the who is Chris Hammond? Chris Hammond is just a representation of the people. Here are the want answers. We need to focus on the what. What happened? I'll tell you what happened. What happened was a sweetheart deal to a non-veteran buddy of the ex-superintendent who went on to shut down her website and close her bank account. What is that about? The superintendent resigns after the lawyer comes to the March meeting. What about that? Focus on the what. Many of you had a good reputation in your respective communities. Why put your reputation online for someone that's gone and under investigation? What are you doing for her? What you're doing for her doesn't benefit you, and it sure doesn't benefit the veterans that you represent. Enough is enough. This needs to stop.
Speaker, please.
My name is Sam Erkonen, last name is spelled E-R-K-O-N-E-N. For those who don't know, I'm the lawyer that Raj was talking about who appeared at the March meeting, and it is true that Raj was the only person that reached out to me. I gladly told him what I know, and I just would urge the board to take this a little bit more seriously than they appear to be taking it. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Colleen Percy. I live in Plainfield. I want to share a story with everybody, including the board members here. When I was a little girl, I can remember my dad and my uncle sharing the story with me because they were veterans. The Red Cross was stealing razor blades and packs of cigarettes and selling them back to our servicemen when they were in World War II. As a little girl, I was outraged. I couldn't believe that anybody would treat anyone who wears our uniform that way. And I'm outraged today in the same way. So let me see if I get this right. You got $500,000 of taxpayer money. The superintendent gives the money to a friend. The superintendent resigns and supposedly takes a job at the city of Joliet and makes more money than anyone else who was applying for that job. You scream foul when someone questions it, and you say it's none of our business. You go into closed session and you won't even address the taxpayers who are here. You're supposed to be representing our veterans. Where is their representation? $500,000. And you hire an attorney to see if there was any wrongdoing? I can save you a lot of money. What you guys did on this board was wrong. You didn't even vote on where that $500,000 went. You don't need to hire an attorney for that. It's common sense. It's decency. It's what you should have been doing for our veterans who you are supposed to be representing. I don't see representation here for our vets. I see a bunch of scared people sitting on a board who can't even motion to go into closed session and know what you're doing. That's what I see here tonight. And it's very, very, very sad. Hey, G, where did it go? Do you even know what you got for that $500,000? Do you even know? Do you even care? And if you did no wrongdoing, you would be transparent. You would be happy to address the public and explain what happened. But you don't even want to do that. everything is hush hush, it's gonna go away, and you do things in secret. Well, I got news for you. What you do in secret is eventually gonna come out in the public. And if you have any public decency or any regard for any veteran or person that wears this country's uniform, you will come forward and speak the truth and tell all of us taxpayers, since it was our money to begin with, what you did with it and where it went and what you got for it. No one wants to address those questions. They're very simple questions. Why can't you address them? Because you choose not to. Shame on every one of you. Every one of you should be in jail.
Victoria Tuller, Tullock. I'm part of female veterans that we're secret, right? We don't talk about a lot of female veterans. They don't have a lot of programs for female veterans. I want to know, when you put this out, where is it? Because I know my friend who was a veteran lost her housing because she didn't have money. Where was the marketing? Where was it telling them? I was struggling. I love my job because I couldn't. I'm a single mother. This is very important here. We're asking for transparency. We're asking for accountability and to hold those that took advantage of this situation accountable. Maybe it wasn't directly you. So let's hold the person who did it accountable. What can we do to fix this error? What can we do to say, we're sorry, we're gonna make this better? We're really here for you veterans. I believe in the VAC. But the way this board is running this meeting, to hear what has happened is heartbreaking. And I'm not just a first generation vet. My whole family down the road. Okay? So I know what it's like to lose. I know what it's like to be a mother, and I know what it's like to lose everything. And we depend on you guys. We depend on you. And there's so much money that goes out there, and I don't see it going to the veterans' hands. I'm an LCSW, licensed clinical social worker. I interned at the VA, and I saw them on the streets. I saw them battling demons. I saw them getting turned away because they didn't fit the criteria. And I'm asking you guys, everybody's asking you to be transparent. That was a federal government grant, correct? Correct? Where'd the grant, was it grant money? Was it written? Was it line item? Do you guys know where the money went once it hit her bank account? This is important. This is what we're asking of you. So that we can move forward. So we can do right the next time. Yes? Thank you.
My name is David Lombardo. I joined the Army, volunteered to go to Vietnam, and Ron took hostages. I joined the Navy. Within 20 years as an unpaid part-time deputy, and I was a command mission pilot for search and rescue for the Civil Air Patrol of the United States Air Force. I know a little bit about volunteering. I'm really happy to see so many vets in here, especially our Afghan guys, the Marine Corps, Semper Fi, brother. Ooh, yeah. Observation. I've been running nonprofit and volunteer organizations for 64 years. And the one thing I've always recognized is if people got something to say, you let them say it. And what I watch now, just even standing here, when she asked you a question, you couldn't answer it. Not that you couldn't answer a simple question, you refused to answer a simple question. I've watched your faces. Most of you are bored. You're not looking at the person who's speaking. Some of you have snarled. I've seen people with faces that were saying, we just barely tolerate you. You are entrusted with some pretty important stuff. And whoever sets an agenda and goes out of the room immediately at the beginning when you have a room full of people who've come, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. You are arrogant people, and you don't give a damn about the veterans.
Madam Secretary, Are we boring you? You're sitting there with your head up against the chair, rolling your eyeballs and
Next speaker,
making
please.
smart ass remarks. You need to stop doing that.
Dear,
and pay
I
attention to the
can't
people that are
see
talking.
past the screen.
Well,
I'm
maybe you
sitting
should
back
turn your
to do
chair
so.
around.
But thank you for noticing that.
No problem.
Next speaker, please.
My name is Gretchen Fritz. I am, spelled F-R-I-T-Z. I am on the Will County Board currently and have been since 2014. When you're elected to the Will County Board, you're also on the Forest Preserve Commission. So I know a little bit about how contracts are given out. And typically, these boards, these government entities, have a policy in place which requires that a contract above a certain dollar amount, on the county board, it's $20,000, I believe actually both boards, it's $20,000. Any contract over $20,000 has to go to bid. It has to be voted on and moved forward. The contract has to be awarded and moved forward by that board. So it is very curious to me, and it doesn't matter the source of the money, it doesn't matter if it's grant money. It's very curious to me that you can award a no-bid contract of $495,000, $5,000 short of $500,000 without it going to a vote and without getting bids, competitive bids. There are times on these boards that I'm on where we go out to bid, we don't get a satisfactory number of bids. We only get one bid, and we say no. We're not going to award that contract with only one bid. We're gonna go out to bid again. We don't care how long it takes, we're gonna get competitive bids for this, because that's the right thing to do with taxpayer money. So again, like Colleen said, Colleen had simple questions, these are simple questions. They need answers, and I think that it's only the right thing to do as someone who handles public trust and public money.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is William Sutton. Again, I'm the delegate of the Plainfield American Legion. I'm also a Marine Corps Purple Heart veteran. And the reason I keep coming here and I keep asking questions every single month. No, I do not live in Will County. No, I don't work for Will County. But it's veterans. Me being on this board, I've asked the same question month after month after month. All I get is eye rolls. I get that. I get called brown boy. I get called a lot of different names. And that's not fair. And here's what I've brought up every single time. 40 and 8 is not a federally or state chartered organization, should not be sitting up there voting. The auxiliary is not a federally or state organization, should not be sitting up there voting. But that was brought up at one of the meetings. And they're still sitting here. Why? Because you guys decided on your own to take an internal vote and allow them to stay until what, October? Till their term is up? And then had the assistant state's attorney sitting in there and saying, hey, you're wrong. They aren't federally or state chartered, they shouldn't be here. But as long as the state's attorney's office isn't notified, then it's okay. I believe that's wrong. I believe these people should know about everything. As a delegate of this commission as well, I have just as much power as every last one of you guys up there. You might have a different title than me, but I'm still authorized by my Legion commander to be here and represent these veterans of a different county than me and show them as much love as none of you guys have ever done to them.
That's all right.
Why are you still out there?
Get out. Next speaker,
Because you
please.
guys made the rules?
Good afternoon. My name is Thomas King. I'm a Marine veteran. I'm a proud member of the Marine Vets MC. And to be honest with you, I don't know a whole bunch of this public hearing jargon. But this is my first time meeting here, and from what I can see, there's definitely some concern. So what I would like to do, Mr. Chairman, having the first time ever seen you or meet you, is I would like to surrender the remaining of my 2 minutes to allow you to look these fine patriots in the face. Since everybody's been talking about what you've done, I'd like to know what you're going to do. Nothing?
Just stay 2 minutes. Wait till the end. Just keep going. Just.
So, I'm giving you an opportunity to explain to us the next course of action on how you're going to explain $500,000 or not missing, but given out under the terms, explained, that obviously has many veterans and many of the civilian public that cares about their veterans upset. I'd like to see what you're going to do about it.
Does it warrant an answer?
I'm going to sit here and I'll stare at you for my time.
There you go.
And watch you stare at me so they can see that you have absolutely nothing to say.
Integrity check.
That would be good.
Shame on every one of you. And you sit up there and you say you represent our veterans. You don't represent anyone but yourselves. Shame on every one of you.
Look at him.
I'm disappointed.
Look at that veteran.
I'm disappointed that Jim Glasgow would send somebody here in order to thwart the very people they're supposed to be serving. I would not have thought that of him.
They'll bleed for you. You have no words.
If you're not supposed to be up there, get up and leave.
Was that a new rule you instilled? You're not supposed to be up there, but you said they could stay? Is that how this works?
Yeah,
You
change
make
the
the
clock.
rules as they go along,
Good job.
you go along?
Good job.
To suit what's beneficial to this board and not our veterans or the public who's asking questions?
What does the state's attorney's office say about that position? Someone sitting there that doesn't belong there. You're representing people that will count.
Blatant disregard for the law, and you sit there. Shame on all of you.
So I don't have any information.
Well,
You
said
can't even
you
look
were
at me
their
the whole
attorney,
time.
so you should know these things,
You
right?
started out pretty hard, but you can't even look at me the whole
Now you
time.
can't answer the question, so now you're all mellow.
That's shame, BP.
You know what, I didn't come here to talk to you.
Just a second, I want him
Thank
to
you.
say. Are you the attorney? That's the
My name is Mike Dean. I served this country, our great country, for 4 years, 2 months, and 7 days.
Thank you for your service.
I got hurt. I had 5 days left in this service. So I had to extend. Eric wrote some paperwork for me, so I want to say out loud, thank you, Eric. But now to listen to this with no bids, people turning around and going against us. We had some bright, intelligent conversations only for 3 minutes. But I gave 4 years, 2 months, and some odd days to this country to get 3 minutes. To other veterans up here to listen to me. That's a shame. I fought for the right for people to talk, especially veterans, for their own opinion. And like the lawyer said, Robert's Rules of Order. Well, when I went to Cambodia, there was no Robert's Rules of Order. I came back, nobody knew that the Chinese government, CCP, Communist China, were back in Pol Pot and killed 2 million people. My fellow citizens of the United States didn't give me 5 minutes to talk or 2 minutes to talk, but I thought I'd at least get as much time as I want or individuals here to talk. I see other Vietnam veterans, and I was in the hospital for 6 months. And I saw guys with no legs, no arms, eating with spoons in there. And they were trying to talk. And I wish they were here now, at least giving us 5 minutes to talk or 10 minutes to talk. It's a shame. No bids. Just taking the money and doing what you want. Show us where you put that money like the one veteran said. Some of them just walked out, they're so disgusted. I was drafted like a lot of them, but I joined the Air Force. I was drafted with a number 39. I love the country, so I said, I'm going to go into the Air Force. But I had 2 friends that died. Ask them if they have time. Ask them if the people with Agent Orange that are dying now, do they have time to talk? We don't even hear it on the news anymore. These are our federal vets. These are my veterans. And what are we, 1%, 2% of Americans serve? I'm disgusted. The lawyer's right. We have laws. But these men made sure there was laws in this country, and these men here made sure that the law would be followed. Thank you very much. I am really disgusted with what's going on in this Will County. Show us the bid. Thank you.
That's right. That's right.
My name is Jim Lanham. I'm not a veteran. I'm just a concerned citizen. And I'd like to know how $495,000 was spent on digital marketing to a demographic that doesn't even know what that is. That's unreal. I bet you the Chicago Bears don't spend that much in digital marketing. And yet someone's best friend here, $500,000. I just had a friend who's a Marine Corps veteran who died. Tragic circumstances. That $495,000 could have been spent helping people like him. Instead it went to someone's best friend for some bullshit marketing. Come on, what were you gonna do? How many of you veterans, do you know what even digital marketing is? Do you have memes and Facebooks and videos? No. $500,000 that could have saved lives instead of buying someone a Mercedes or a fur coat. I bet you that's what that was spent on. I don't think, like I said, the Bears couldn't spend that in a year on digital marketing. And you gave it to someone's best friend without a vote, without a bid. So that's all I can say. That makes me sick.
You were so busy passing notes. How can you listen when you're doing garbage like that up there at that board? That's exactly what we were talking about, the total disrespect and arrogance of you people sitting there.
I would like
Any more comments?
Without any visitor added.
Yeah, we gotta go.
Any more comments?
I would like to know what the
Any
state
more
attorney's
comments?
office says on that.
Sir,
subject.
if you want
People are
to
seated
participate in
illegally.
public comment, it's gonna
I'm
be
sorry,
from up
I
here.
didn't mean to shout over
Why,
you.
you guys don't listen? You're
Thank you.
passing notes back and forth and making faces. You don't care what anybody says from that podium. Shame on all of you.
Statement from the chair, please. The Will County Veterans Assistance Commission will not comment or make any statement regarding the investigation until its conclusion, per the instruction of the attorney we have hired. To get to the answers, everybody, including the court, is asking. We're going by our attorney's advice.
You're gonna spend more.
I wonder how much the attorney costs that we are all
What's the
spending.
attorney gonna run everybody?
Is that the one you claimed was an auditor, go to closed session?
Thank you.
$30,000.
Next item on the agenda. Minutes of the previous meeting. June 14th. Motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from the 17 May meeting.
17 May meeting was the executive closed session meeting. Cannot be, if there is no discussion, we can accept that.
Just because I have those twice and I don't have the
The May 17th special meeting.
Yeah, that's what I'm making a motion for, because that's not on the agenda, but we do have,
It is on there.
Oh, indeed.
Next page.
Yeah, but, so we do not have, I do not have in my packet here minutes from the June 14th meeting. Or do I? No.
Those minutes were emailed to you for final review on the 1st and the 7th. To be reviewed and sent to Jack for approval to be included in the packet.
And they were returned. And it was stated they needed to be revised and rewritten according to the instructions issued by the board. Were they rewritten?
I searched and searched our emails and we didn't receive that, so we may want to double check the email addresses.
We do not have minutes from the June 14th meeting. I motion to table passage of the minutes of the June 14th meeting until the minutes have been rewritten and supplied to the board.
Have a second? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Okay, now I'll make my motion to accept the minutes from the special meeting, May 17th.
We lose the microphones again.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, nays? Approved. I'll go to the superintendent's report, please.
All right, I do see one error on this, say again?
I'm wondering if we can turn your microphone on here. Yes.
All right, does that work?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, I gotta lean forward for it. Okay, so, item A under the superintendent's report was actually, it looks like it was just unintentionally copied and moved up during the revision. So the detailed proposed budget was actually down in item E of section 10.
Actually, the detailed proposed budget was intentionally moved to be item 1 under the superintendent's report, per instructions from the board last month. If you
Very
recall,
well.
that
Yes,
was Wayne's
that's-
instruction.
That's why it's on there. I just wasn't sure if that was under old, I put it under old business, it was moved to the top.
Yes.
Understood. All right, so I have included the budget proposal that we sent to the county. If you look in your packets, you will see that the only items that were changed were the COLA increase for employees, and the only line items that were changed were because we now have 2 vehicles instead of 1. So everything else remained the same from last year.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
The budget from last year, part of that budget was an ESG grant that is no longer, is that correct?
Yes, that
And you
was
got that
added
included
to.
in this current proposed budget?
No, that was removed because it wasn't supposed to be in there, I believe.
And this is just kind of the personnel costs and the personnel benefits. Did you reach out to HR or county or anybody for help with that? Because I'm really wondering, I'm not a finance person, and I can't, but it doesn't make sense to me, so I'm wondering, if you had assistance in getting this, in doing the proposed budget for personnel costs and benefits. I don't want it to be in a situation where, if we have to make another request, if we have to move something or whatever else, I don't want there to be a shortfall in that category.
Denise, I'm a veteran service officer. I have no knowledge of budgets, so I definitely did reach out to the county several times and work this out directly with them.
Great, that's what I was hoping your answer
If
was
you
going
don't
to
know,
be.
find the person that does.
Thank you.
And when we proposed it to the county at our meeting, they had no questions, no concerns. Everything was to move on forward.
This is what you call a budget proposal.
Yes, that's actually the budget proposed that the county gave to us. We filled it out and sent it back to the county. Those are county documents, not mine.
I have a question. I'm sorry. You're done.
Speak
I
loud.
have a question for you.
Loud, Janet.
This is loud for me. So, Eric, when we talked about the budget last month, we talked about the personnel costs and the personnel benefits. I believe we asked if we could have a breakdown of what made up that cost. We've got $786, and we asked for a breakdown on what did that mean, what cost led up to that?
I discussed that with Jack previously, and he stated that the individual identity of the employees and their salaries wasn't something that should go into this. So if you would like to discuss that, we can do that
I
in
agree
person.
with that, but I still would like to see if it's 2 full-time people, 2.5, whatever it is. I would like to know what that cost represents.
Oh, absolutely. You can come in the office and we can work on that. We can take a look at
Point
that.
of order, public salaries are to be published publicly. There is no privacy for public salaries.
That's correct, and it is, I believe it's on the county site, but it wasn't something that needed to be included in this meeting. Is that correct, Jack?
Right.
And I'm happy with that. I just want to know how the numbers came to that.
Be happy to show you.
Thank you.
Right.
I'm not happy with that. I want to see all of it detailed the way it's supposed to be. You are not county employees. Anything that's posted on the county's website doesn't necessarily apply to us. We are a separate unit of government. I want to see it all. That's what I asked for. Not seeing it all. It's not good enough. Next time.
Absolutely.
It's pretty clear when I explained it.
Okay, continue on B.
If there's nothing more on the detailed budget, proposed budget, the next is the award log. You'll see 2015 to present. We have a combined benefits of 122.8 million. Our VSOs are working nonstop while in the office to serve our veterans and make sure that the claims go through and move in a smooth fashion. Does anybody have any question on the award log? Moving on to project 150, the emergency shelter. We have spent currently to total $124,495.30, remaining $35,500 in the budget. We currently have one veteran left in the hotel. Good news is that we have had, I believe, 2 of them, the veterans that were in the hotel, we found permanent. We worked with our accompanying organizations, and we found permanent housing for them. Another I do know actually was able to get more, not permanent housing, but stable housing elsewhere. 2 have been housed through other agencies, and I believe there were a few that were kicked out of the hotel by the hotel staff for issues that they were having. We've actually continued to follow up with them. Joe has done an excellent job. I know one of them, he accompanied one of them even after getting kicked out to a, what was that? A recovery meeting. The veteran said it's the first time he'd ever been to a recovery meeting and was very grateful that Joe actually stepped up and went the extra mile even after the incident. So very proud. My hat's off to Joe for taking that step, that initiative step, and continuing to work with our veterans. Are there any other questions on the Project 150?
I have a question. Sure. I do have a question. I would like to go back to the annual award law for just a moment.
Yes, sir.
If you could be a little more specific on that. There seems to be a perception in the room that we don't do much for veterans. Would you kind of explain that annual award, which over the last 7 or 8 years now amounts to $122,801,932 that's been awarded to veterans? Those are financial awards.
Absolutely. Our office files service-connected and non-service-connected claims for veterans. A lot of times, by the time they make it into our office, the veteran has been denied once, twice, multiple times. They come in hopeless. I don't know how many times I've had veterans come in shrug their shoulders, sit down and say, I don't know why I'm here, because you ain't gonna do nothing for me. Only to leave happy because we were able to review his file, find the missing information, obtain the required documents, and submit it to the VA for approval. Now, I can't promise that every veteran that comes in is gonna get an approved claim, but I can promise that by the time we're done, they will understand the VA's decision. Only through understanding can we move forward, whether with acceptance or the next step in the appeal process. So I can assure you that any vet that comes into our office is going to get not only, they're not gonna get papers thrown at them. We're gonna sit down, we're gonna talk to them, we're gonna get their details, we're gonna get their information. We're gonna fill out the forms for the veterans so that there is no question about whether or not the forms are filled out properly. Those forms are submitted to the VA in an efficient manner through our database, and the claims go through. Majority of the times, claims go through with little to no issue. Those numbers represent the claims that have been successfully filed by our veterans through our office. Note that that is actually only a portion of the claims because we are not notified by the VA when the VA makes a decision. The only time we know when a decision is made is when the veteran contacts us back and tells us that the decision was made. Other than that, so there could be several other decisions, innumerable decisions that we don't even know about. So that is a low-end estimate of the benefit to our veterans through our office work.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you, I appreciate that. That's an area of expertise that you excel in, and that's a very satisfying thing to accomplish. Financial assistance, $122 million in the last 7 years.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
If there are no more questions about the award log, move on to the monthly financial assistance report. We currently have 8 veterans on financial assistance. You can see the breakdown for the benefits that we have provided to them. Are there any questions on the financial assistance report?
I do have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
This is one of those non-budget, non-math person questions. All right. Under shelter, we've got $1,400 this month listed under shelter. And I remember looking at the proposed budget, and the proposed budget for our shelter allowance, I believe, was $91,000.
We have shipped, it could be, if that's what you're looking at, I'm gonna go with what you're saying.
I'm just asking for some clarification on that, because like I said, I'm getting confused by this proposed budget in a couple of different ways. And that's why I would echo the breakdown that we need to see on the proposed budget. You know, every line item, absolutely everything on the budget. Because that's what we're used to seeing, and that's the way we're used to addressing it and to dealing with it. So if you can, that's one of the reasons. That's one of the things.
Absolutely.
I'm not understanding how we get from $1,400 per month to $91,000 for the budget.
I might be able to clarify a little bit, just knowing the other side of it. So the rentals, land and building line that she's talking about is 91,114. And that, I believe, is actually the building that we have the VAC housed in. And then when we look down at the bottom for lodging, we have 12,000, and I think that's the emergency assistance that you're talking about, the superintendent's report.
Okay, and I hear you.
And again, I could be wrong there as well, but just to clarify, because we have a lot of people in attendance today, I believe that's where we're at.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't organize my packet as well as you guys got yours, so it was at the bottom. Yeah.
But do you see where I'm talking about?
Yes, yes, and looking at it.
I think I'm right there, but I don't know, to be honest with you, so.
Any more questions?
Oh yeah, that 91,000 is for rent. our rent that we pay.
Do we
The
see why I
lodgings.
got confused?
What's that?
Do we see why I got confused?
Absolutely.
That's great.
The county codes probably wouldn't be any more clear. The county code numbers. All right, so that, if there are no further questions, that concludes my report.
All right, need a motion to accept.
I'll make that motion, Lou.
Good.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, nays? None, motion passed. Next item on the agenda is old business.
All right. So, website update. We are live. The website is live. We have updated the employee information. We've updated the information on the site and uploaded the previous minutes and made sure that the calendar is proper. The one issue I will say with the calendar is that for some reason when it was initially developed in 2018, they had it in reverse order. So in order to find the current calendar items, you had to scroll all the way to the bottom. That's been identified. I'm working with the developers to change that around. Other than that, for future, we do look forward. This right now is a bare minimum. It's the beginning of our website. The staff had the ability to update and basically add things to the website, extra pages, extra tabs. We have full control of the website. In the packet is included an email from the website designers that addressed the questions that were asked at the previous meeting. Her name is Jessica, I do believe. As I did get out of order, there it is. Does that address the questions that were asked last meeting?
Yeah, my question was, I wanted to know if we owned the domain name.
Yes, we do.
And I wanted to know who in the office now is going to be tasked. My understanding is that's our executive assistant who's going to be tasked or has been hired in part to maintain the website as well as social media.
Yes. You'll see on the go to the commission down at the bottom, one of the future, we've actually scheduled a social media marketing training for Anna specific to VSOs to learn how to best manage the Facebook page. Moving forward with the website, we do look forward to growing. We do look forward to incorporating more involvement from the posts around the county. I have met with some of the post commanders just to discuss how we could work together in that fact. And they're all very excited. We're looking forward to posting other posts, to making sure that other posts, their meetings, their events are put onto our calendar. And I would actually like to eventually put a tab on there, not only for our board members, but also for our posts in the county, where they can have their information linked to our page and their identities and their post story put onto our page as well. Give them a vested interest in our commission. I mean, you guys, the delegates, the posts are the building blocks that we build our office on. So we want to make sure that that's well known throughout all posts. Is there any questions about the website?
I don't have a question, I just have a point to make. In the email, it mentions a chat feature. I know that's gonna incur additional costs, but I do encourage us to take a serious look at that, because I think it will benefit our veterans from having that immediate response to a question they have, versus going through the motions of, phone calls and stuff like that. Even though, Eric, I can honestly say you do a phenomenal job as a service officer, I know from people who got back to me in East Timor County, saying how wonderful it was to have someone who just sat, listened, and helped them through the paperwork. I think the chat function would be a definite plus. I'd love to see
Okay,
it.
I can definitely look into that.
So I have a comment before that, and this is something we can continue to discuss as a board. As much as I agree with the concept of having that chat function, who mans it? Who has the time in the office? How do we staff that? And at what hours? And can we do so consistently? Because the only thing worse than not having that chat function would be to have a chat function that doesn't get a response. Because the person who is going to be doing it, or, you know, that could be a logistical nightmare for the staff to try to handle that. So if we had, and we may again in the future at some point, have an intern again, that might be a function for an intern, and that we post chat hours. But to just have it there, it's, I think, going to cause more discontents than it could possibly, you know, it could probably address. Having comment on there, having something on there of, you know, the feature that this is perhaps the, an email address that comes directly from that, not to individuals, because then your emails can get flooded individually. But if that can come into, let's say, the executive assistant or to Elisa in the front, and that those can be disseminated that way, perhaps that might answer your immediacy concern that I share. But I'm more concerned with having it.
You stole the concern out of my mouth there. That's definitely a concern. We do have, obviously, there's the Facebook Messenger, where they can send a message to our Facebook page at any time. I can't say that's manned 24/7. However, I do probably man that more than my wife would appreciate. If we get a comment, if we get a message, I tend to just open it up and respond back as soon as I get it. So, but in a controlled environment, control issue, yeah, I can definitely see that being an issue moving forward.
As far as the messenger is concerned on social media, on Facebook Messenger, do you have an auto reply? Because I've not tested the feature. Do you have an auto reply that says that, you know, you'll be responding within 24 hours or something like that? Just so that it's managed expectation.
I believe we do. However, I've never messaged our own Facebook page. So I think we do. But I'll have to get back to you on that. I'm not 100% sure.
So I can suggest if we don't have it there, that is definitely something that a auto response. And in a sense, that does answer the immediacy question without creating a whole nother job description.
Yeah, and I think most people can assume that if it's not business hours, you're not going to get a response, and are very happy and surprised when they do get a response from me at 2:00 in the morning.
That we're not happy with you responding at 2:00 in the morning. Yeah. No.
This is what I do.
Yeah, that's what we do, but no.
All right, so is there anything more on the website? Any questions, suggestions, anything you'd like to see added to the website if you hadn't had a chance to? The website is actually, it's veteranassistancewilco.org. That's veteran singular. Veteranassistancewilco.org. It is posted to our Facebook page. It is a live link. I contacted the county about getting rid of the county's website for us because I've emailed them several times and no updates have been made. So it's a backlog with the county. I'm sure we're not the highest priority when it comes to updating their email addresses or their website. But this negates that. This gets rid of a whole issue. So the website will be managed by Ann and myself. The reason I say myself is because some things cannot be addressed properly by somebody that is not a VSO. somebody that doesn't have in-depth knowledge of veterans services, specifically the Facebook Messenger. There's no way she's going to be able to get a good answer to somebody without sounding like they're passing them off. So I don't think it's in the best interest of our veterans for me to cut out completely, but she has taken the reins.
To be clear, so this is what I was requesting last month, right? Where we go on willcountyillinois.com and we use the little menu to get to the VAC, right? Special Services, Veterans Assistance Commission, and so on. Right now it has this like template that just lists the board members. And what we're gonna do is actually have people land right on our website, which I looked at, and it does look very nice even for first time out. And that's the plan, right?
Yes,
So
absolutely. So when they
circumvent
click,
this.
yes.
Okay.
So when they click on the county's site, it takes you automatically
Once we
to
go through all
ours.
those menus, it just lands us
Yep.
right. I love that. Thank you.
All right, the next item, if there's nothing more. Update, the locks have been installed. All employees have new keys and all keys are accounted for. Say again?
The last time you said Bays didn't want to do that. You said that wasn't gonna be done, it was too expensive.
No. Last time, there were three different, we looked into three different methods of doing it. One was to rekey the locks, one was to replace the locks, and one was to put electronic locks as per requested.
Electronic locks were.
Oh, good Lord, no. Those were probably $1,200 a piece. That would have costed us a fortune. And it would have probably been $750, I believe, per replacement. So instead, we just went with $1,000 for all the locks, all the keys, everything's included.
They were rekeyed.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Since we have a crowd here, if I might say, might want to explain why we thought that was necessary.
We've had, I believe the conversation went that we've had several employees come and go. In the past 5 years, I think there were 11 or 12 employees that are no longer employees at our office anymore. Keys were made, sent out, and once a key goes out, it's hard to verify if it was duplicated or not. Anybody with a key machine can duplicate it, you take it to Lowe's. So it was a security issue to make sure that our, not only our staff was secure, but also the HIPAA protected information within our office stays secure.
Thank you.
All right, next is the, next item is the county auditor.
Is the county auditor present?
I believe Duffy's still here, yes.
Okay. Mr. President, the county auditor was another item that was moved off of old business to be moved into closed session. This board requested the audit, and the county auditor's preliminary report needs to go to this board in closed session. This cannot be presented in open session. If I'm mistaken on this, ASA, Statro, please advise.
Well, you can receive it in open session. The question is whether you want to receive it in closed session that is authorized under the open meeting time.
So I guess the question is, we can't receive it as an oral report in open, we can't do it in open session. I mean.
Well, that's a decision for the board. Do you want to receive it in open session, or do you want to receive it in closed session? If you want to receive it in closed session, there is an exception to the Open Meetings Act to do so.
So, Mr. President, my understanding was that you had directed that. This was a conversation that you had directed that, and that was put back into old business.
Jack, we discussed that.
Right.
And we put it back on. We put it back on because we wanted to clarify. If it's in old business, it can be skipped over and put into the closed session. However, if it wasn't, there would be no option.
I ought to do that.
our auditors here. Do you want to speak on the pros and cons of doing this in open versus closed session, Mr. Auditor?
Yeah, I can just say that,
Can we get him turned on? Perfect.
yeah, I'm more than happy to address the board in open session. I can just go over that the audit was, the Veterans Assistance Commission had requested and approved that the county auditor would perform an audit. My staff came in and met with the staff of the VAC. I want to say thank you for that. We began testing in June of 2022, and then we have not finished our work. Basically, we looked through financial reports, the board, the minutes, all of the items that we're able to examine. We do have, opportunities for internal controls and recommendations we can make to the staff. I would recommend that you don't hesitate and slow down on that. I think the strengthening of internal controls is an important step right now for the staff, and I can make those in the written report so you all can see. And I would probably suggest that you can read them at, when I distribute it, you can, refer to your counsel to see how you'd want me to distribute those reports. But I just, basically it's just recommending the VAC staff seek appropriate support to develop and to compile different reports and a way to see the finances, purchasing decisions, minutes, and other recommendations allowing you to protect and enhance the value of your board and the veteran community, and making sure that you follow your mission.
Can I ask a question? So when do you think when do you think you'll be completed? When do you think the audit report will be completed?
A draft report can be completed this week for the staff to review. And it can be distributed as the board sees fit.
Thank you.
Any more other questions? Okay, thank you. Are we gonna direct him to do that?
It's already doing it.
He's already doing it.
Yeah. Continue.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay.
Next is Attorney General.
Just had follow-up questions and continuation of the Attorney General's FOIA. No real new information came out on that. Actually, representative is here today from the Attorney General's office. I'm not sure if he has anything to say or if he's just here to observe. Just here to observe. But I just wanted to make sure that was on the agenda as old business. It was on the FOIA from the Attorney General's is not anything that we take lightly, obviously. We put a lot of time and effort into making sure that our reports, our FOIA response was appropriate. Any further questions?
No.
All right, then moving on, that concludes the old business.
New business.
New FOIA.
Yeah, we received another FOIA about an hour after our last board meeting from Jerry Ann Weisbrook. Again, that was another easy one to respond to. It was asking for the same thing. I think she just changed the dates for a few minutes. I believe it was responded to on the 21st, and done. No follow-up there. Since this agenda has gone out, we received another FOIA. Chris, am I able to identify that, or we just state that there was another FOIA?
You can explain that there's a FOIA.
Okay, we received another FOIA from a John Kraft. I've never heard of him, never met him, no idea who he is. Is he here?
Oh, there he is. Hi.
John Kraft, ladies and gentlemen. He was just asking for the last 24 months minutes, which I can happily tell you that if you haven't received something from, excellent, they're on our website.
I got one thing about this, you told us about the previous FOIA, or the FOIA from, asking, but you told us in the meeting that it was referring to chat messages on cell phones.
Yes.
You never said a word about it, it was about being about emails.
This is different.
This is a new one.
The previous
the
one
second.
wasn't about emails, was just about chats?
I do believe it was cell phone communication. Was there any emails, Amy?
I have it. Jerry Ann's first FOIA was emails and texts.
So it was emails on the
Yes.
first.
The second one that was received an hour and a half after the meeting ended in June, just changed the date range, and there was no new information to give.
Okay, but were emails sent? I mean, was the FOIA responded to?
Yes, everything's been complied with.
Okay, that's what I wanted to make
Yes.
sure,
Yes, ma'am.
because we only heard half of it in here, and I'm wanting to make sure that we didn't hear about the other half of it. And
It's a brief summary. I apologize for
we
that.
wanna make sure that it was,
Yeah, no, we address
we're under a
everything.
microscope in every way.
Oh
So
yeah,
let's
we
just
address
make sure
everything
we're-
very thoroughly, especially when it comes to FOIAs.
But it also needs to be told to us.
Of course.
So that we're not caught flat.
Of course, and that was never my intention. Just the primary objective of it was the personal information. They, I believe, already had the emails, but that, again, has been taken care of, responded to appropriately, and no follow-up other than this second email.
No questions on that? Next item. Go to the commission.
All right, as you can see, we've continued our recurring outreach. I can say that everything's going well. The Veterans Breakfast in Manhattan on the first Monday of the month is actually grown exponentially. Got a lot of followers and a lot of people out there asking questions and getting good referrals for claims. And again, the upcoming training for Ann, specialized for VSO, specialized for social marketing in a crowded VSO world, I believe it's titled. Any questions on Good Commission?
Yeah, I got a couple, it would be good to have the dates of when these things are happening. So,
Okay.
other than every Wednesday, but Shorewood Glen Veterans Group, what's the date? Senior Services at Will County, what's the date?
Yeah.
Okay, it's happened since last meeting. These are all within,
If they're past or future, but having the dates on there, I think is important, particularly as the agendas are gonna be on the website. But that's going to be something to let people know where people are gonna be and when,
Well,
and
those
where
are-
they've been. So I'd like
Yeah.
to have the dates on there.
yeah, anything future
And-
would definitely have a date on it, but those are all past,
Right.
so.
And the exact
And
locations and
as
stuff.
we get the website rolled out, those things will be going on our calendar as well.
Right, and
So-
in the interim, that they're in the agenda or that they're reported for our agenda with that information.
Absolutely.
And superintendent's report, we need a motion to accept.
I would,
Okay.
I have something to add for the good of the commission. Do we need to wait till after Eric's report's been?
No.
No, can I add that now? Yeah. So, for anyone who doesn't know me, I'm Janet Blue. I'm a member, a fairly new member of the board. I'm not a veteran. I come from 3 generations of veterans, but I did raise a 3 tour of Iraq Marine, whom I'm very, very proud of. and a founding president of the Moni Auxiliary. And we founded that because all we want to do is serve our veterans, that's all. Whether it's saving one more from suicide, whether it's finding someone on the street and helping them to some shelter, regardless. We're in Eastern Will County, it's a desert in so many ways, but especially for our veterans. So our role is to serve our veterans from that tiny village. We serve the VAC by putting together backpacks for our homeless veterans. We have a Midwest, we serve the Midwest Veterans Shelter with donated goods for the women, especially because there's a lot of women veterans on the streets in Chicago. And we also work with other veterans organizations to make sure that we're doing our very, very best to serve our veterans. And the reason I'm bringing it up under the good of the commission is because we do have 15 more backpacks for our homeless veterans. And Jack, as always, let me know when you think you may need them, and we'll be happy to get them to you. Thank you.
I will.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now.
I can say something, but the people that I wanted to talk to have already left.
Can you turn your microphone on too, just so that?
Yeah. I'd like to say something. You know, we stood up here and we've had mudslinging and everything. And the thing is that all of us, with the exception of a couple of decorated veterans, okay? Yeah, Denise here, she lost her son in Iraq to an IED. Lisa over here, she worked for 20 years at the Pentagon as a lawyer, I believe. No, okay. But anyway, the day she started was the day after 9/11. Now, a lot of people would think, hey, I'm not going in there. You know, I don't know what's over. I don't know what's going on. But I'm saying that because that's the kind of people that we are. And to sit here and have to listen to all of this mudslinging and everything else is a shame. People say, you ought to be ashamed of yourselves. We're not ashamed of ourselves, and we'll never will be. Because we do our job, as it was mentioned, we do our job and we love our job. So that's all I wanted to say.
Can I just make a comment about, because I think it's very appropriate. The only question I have, and I'm not being angry about it, you have a body of veterans who have concerns, and you're really ignoring them. If I sat on that panel, I'd be here all night listening to what veterans had to say. That's all.
We were not allowed to have, we heard comments, but we were restricted in the time because this is not a special meeting, this was a board meeting.
Well, I understand.
Okay?
I'm not sure you do understand.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
I'm not sure you do understand. This is an executive board meeting.
Okay.
It is not for the commission delegates. We have those 4 times a year. This is the second, third, maybe fourth time any of the ones that complain the most have been here. I've been on this commission for 28 years. I helped start this commission. Talk about insulting people, saying we're ashamed. $122 million that we know of in the last 7 years has come into this county through financial assistance that we've provided. We're a volunteer board. We don't get any compensation. We spend a lot of time at this. And to denigrate this board is denigrating yourselves. This is for veterans, started by veterans for their benefit. And unless you understand that completely, you have no business denigrating this board.
And I think that's fine.
Of course it's fine, and that's the comment, and if you want to say any more, you can come up to the. Okay, thank you.
Is this, it's just the simple thing.
I'd like to make a motion that we move into executive session.
Yeah, but you just listened to the man there, we were talking about the 3 minutes and the 5 minutes.
You know, you talk out of turn too.
And that's why we were telling you, listen to us. We all know that you're veterans up there. and you have every right to
Didn't
say your
sound
piece,
like it.
and I would listen to you.
There's a motion on the floor to go into special
I
session.
second
But why didn't you answer Raj when he was up there about the money? You can answer us now.
All in favor?
Clarification on the motion.
You need to say why you're going into
Yes.
executive session.
Clarification on the motion on the floor. Amendment on motion on the floor. To go into executive closed session in accordance with 5 ILCS 120/2, Section 2, C, and I'm not sure, I think 11 is wrong, personnel.
1.
1. That's what I thought. I knew it was a typo. Thank you. Motion is amended.
So amended.
All in favor?
Roll call.
Roll call.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
I'm not. Shut your mouth when you're out there making time, you leave.
I know you're not.
Roll call,
Roll
please.
call vote. Denise Williams. Yes.
Smart ass.
Amanda Coe.
Yes.
Jim Singer. Tom Milnick.
Yes.
Janet Blue.
Yes.
Steve Beneke.
Yes.
John Kessel.
Yeah.
Wayne Horn.
Yes.
Motion passed. Going into special session.
If you're not authorized to be sitting up there, leave and don't come back.
Going into executive closed session, 7:20 PM.